Hello, hello, hello.
How you doing, beautiful peoples?
Listen, welcome.
Welcome once again to another episode of Marriage is Dope. Now, in case you don't know, we are your hosts, Rebecca and Shirone Richardson, also known as Pastor Shy.
Get it right,
Pastor Rebecca.
That's my name in these streets.
Some of them streets, I guess. I don't know.
Pastor Shy, Pretty Ricky is what they call me.
They do not call you Pretty Ricky.
Pastor Shy is what they call me.
This will be a whole nother episode if they called you Pretty Ricky.
You're right.
But listen, we are so excited that you are joining us for another episode of this podcast. Listen, you're watching, you're listening.
Absolutely.
But maybe you know somebody who isn't. So would you do us a favor? Would you like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification, send it to somebody else. Tell them to do the same thing because My Marriage is Dope podcast is on the air.
What's the name of it?
Marriage is Dope.
Okay. I love it.
I said My Marriage is Dope.
Because you was thinking about your marriage.
Yes, My Marriage is Dope.
But the podcast is Marriage is Dope. But your marriage is dope.
My marriage is dope.
You know why?
Why?
Because you married to me.
I know that's right. And then our marriage is dope and it's
intoxicating.
I'd rather be with you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now listen. You might hear some voices because we added another element to our podcast.
There's layers to this.
Yes, like an onion. Remember on Shrek?
I know. Like an onion. It's like a parfait.
Like a parfait. But we added another element. We invited a live studio audience to be with us for tonight. And listen, it's exciting.
It's exciting.
Right? It's exciting. So glad to have you tonight.
Glad to have you.
Let's begin this journey.
So as a matter of fact, we had a question came in, and it was actually from somebody who's in the live studio audience.
Yes.
I ain't going to put them on the spot.
Don't put them on the spot.
I'm not going to do that. Because then
especially since we're not turning the camera on them.
No, but not just that. But if this goes viral, then they'll sue us and say we use their name, we use their question, and they want some money, their likeness. And so we ain't going to tell you who they is. But as you guys know, we've been married for 30 years.
That's right, 30 years. Actually, now 30 plus years because we're
plus.
like halfway to 31.
We're almost 31.
Yeah, so.
But 31 don't count. You just got to wait for the 35, I think is the next big one.
Would you count by fives? 5,
Yeah,
10,
I count
15,
by 5.
20,
Yeah,
25,
I'm trying to get
30,
there quick.
35, 40, 45, 50.
I'm trying to get there quick.
Remember that on Schoolhouse Rock?
Yeah, I do. The one for me was, anyway, because the copyrights. I was going to sing Conjunction. What's your function?
All right, yes, we don't own the rights to any of the stuff we be
Rock.
quoting.
We didn't write Schoolhouse Rock.
We didn't. But, we just quoted it.
But so they wanted to know, since we was married 30 plus years.
Yes.
The question was, how do you continue to grow together?
Right.
Right? As you continue, as your marriage continues to grow, what do you do to make sure that you're growing together?
Yeah,
right?
And because that's vital.
That is so vital.
That is very vital. Just to hit on that point, a lot of times you hear people that don't grow together and they get to this point and they say, well, I grew out of love or I grew past you.
They do.
You know what I'm saying? Like we grew apart.
Yeah.
And that's not what we're looking for.
And
we're looking for marriages to grow together.
Stay in the same
lane. Healthy, surviving, lively, intoxicating marriages.
Yeah. So with that thought in mind, I wanted to title this particular episode. I want to use a little song.
Okay. What is it?
Make it last forever. Don't let our love. Hold on, I got to whine because he whined. Let's make it. Okay, so put it in.
Yeah. Make it last forever.
Make it last forever, right? Because it's one thing that we've learned, and when we talk about how long we've been married, we don't want people to get so impressed with the fact we've been married for a long time.
Right.
The thing we want people to know is that we are enjoying being married.
Yes.
Because some people are tolerating their marriage.
Yeah,
but they're not celebrating.
They're not celebrating it at all. They're not enjoying it.
They're not enjoying it.
Yes. And the thing is that we have been through a lot of things that really could have torn our marriage apart. And, we shouldn't be here. To be honest.
Way.
I mean, at year 2, it was about to be over.
Because I got a question, and I was going to save it.
Okay.
But I think I want to ask it up front.
Okay.
Right? Because when people hear our story, right, I'm going to be honest, my side of the story is not that impressive when it comes to how do we stay together, right? Because, when I think about my road of the story, I was a mess.
Glad you said it.
Do you agree? Can I get an amen? Okay. I want
Ayes.
Right.
Nays. Not from me.
Because so I did a lot of
stuff.
Yeah.
Mess.
Yeah. What else?
Stuff I don't say anymore.
You're right.
Because I'm saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost.
Right. But,
running for my life.
But the amazing thing,
baptized
and we're
in
going
the
to have
fire
a
of the Holy
chance
Spirit.
for you to tell people, it's not that I stayed because I had nothing. Being married was actually an upgrade for me. So with all the crazy stuff I was doing, for me to stay, well, when you're the one doing wrong, where you going to go, right? But the fact that I was the one at the time who was making so many mistakes, but you stayed.
Yeah.
I am still amazed that we're still here, not because I'm still here, but because you made the choice to stay here in spite of those first 2 years.
Yeah. And it wasn't easy
Okay.
because, at 2 years, we were dealing with, infidelity. So there was just like no trust,
We were dealing with poverty.
Poverty. So we were fighting, arguing all the time. There was so much stress in our
Immaturity.
relation. Yeah. Because again, 2 years in, we were only now like what, 22 and 21, 22 and 23.
No, we hadn't got that far. I was 19. So, 22
and 21.
21, yeah.
Yeah,
that's
so
right.
this is only 2 years into the marriage.
Right,
so we were still
22 and 21.
I mean, so,
Jesus.
so that
We
was a
we was
whole
babies.
nother, element,
Yeah.
right? Because we weren't mature. We were mature, but we really weren't mature as we thought we were.
And
you know what I'm saying?
Another thing, too, that we're going to talk about as we go forward, because, again, we don't hide the fact that we're pastors.
Right.
Right.
No, not at all.
We believe that we're actually not just doing a podcast, but we're on assignment.
Exactly.
Right? We believe that this is a part of what God would have us to do.
Oh, yeah.
But there was a season where religion actually hurt our marriage. And when I say it hurt our marriage is because when we first became believers, we started to live under this notion that having problems was not godly.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So we put on these masks.
Right.
And in front of people, we look like we had it all together.
Right.
But behind closed doors.
Yeah. Because, I mean, at year 2, at this point, we really hadn't developed our own personal relationship with Jesus.
Hold on.
We
hold on.
were.
You said we didn't develop. Listen, I didn't know Jesus. Jesus could have came to the door delivering pizza, and I'd be like, "Who is you?" I might have called him Jesus.
We had
I
not
might be like,
received
Jesus?
him.
Is that you?
So at 2 years, we weren't saved.
Man, won't.
We were not saved.
Won't.
But here's the thing: we had grown up, right, in a family, that
we grew
was
up in
church.
church,
so
and
we
our
had a
grandparents
sense.
were saved.
Right, exactly. So we had a sense, right,
Yeah.
and things like that. And like I said, I grew up both Baptist and Pentecostal.
You was
so
confused.
I could hymn and get down on my knees and
tarry.
pray, and then I could also tarry, and I
Man.
knew about the Holy Ghost and being
Man.
slain and all of that. So you had a sense, right? But we didn't know him personally. So at year 2, we were really self-destructing.
Man,
You know what I'm saying?
The song said
And
self-destruction.
You're headed
for
we were
self.
there.
Woo!
We were there, and we were ready to call it quits.
We were ready to call it quits, right? Because
We tried to call it quits.
there it is. We actually tried.
We actually tried.
Listen, we tried.
We tried.
Man.
You let me
Well,
tell you the story of him.
Oh.
Came.
Hold on.
Now remember we said we were
Hold
dealing
on.
with poverty, so bills weren't getting paid, right?
Right.
We were dealing with
Lord. Are you
we were
telling
dealing
this
with
story
affairs
to the World Wide
to
Web?
the world. We were dealing with affairs,
Jeez.
okay? And brother gonna come home.
Don't forget what you said when you point the finger there. You got 4 coming back at you. Just hold that. Put a pin right there.
Yes, we'll talk about that
Okay,
too.
all right.
But we were dealing with all of that, right? So this brother, he comes in after being out all night, right? He walks in
Oh,
he's in the Navy, so it's
well,
the 15th.
You might as well tell it.
So it's payday, right? So he got his little paycheck, but he was only like at this point like an
man.
E2.
You telling too much.
So because he hadn't been in long.
Let me tell my story.
Wait, but he comes up.
You
Go
can't
ahead.
tell it. Let me tell it.
Go ahead, tell it.
You
tell
can't
how you
tell
walked
it.
upstairs.
Let me tell it. So then you tell how you was planning on leaving. Because
Go
one
right
of the
ahead.
things that we do say when we talk about making it last forever, right, is that if you're going to make it last forever, divorce should not be an option.
No, right. You have to take it off the table.
You can't use divorce as a threat nor a bargaining chip.
Right, exactly.
Right? But we weren't always there. So
right, we weren't there. That's at this point we hadn't gotten to that point.
we were nowhere near.
Now we are adamant that
We're
divorce
adamant.
is not an
Listen,
option.
don't be throwing it in each other's face. But in 2 years. So here's what happened.
two?
What had happened was, I was going through a rough patch in my life, and I was going. It was kind of rough in them
You were,
streets.
yeah.
It was rough, and I had don't hit me. Met somebody,
Well, you're not telling anything I don't know.
but sometimes you have a flashback. So I don't want you
trigger.
I don't want
wanna
you
be
slapping me in front of the World Wide Web. So I had met somebody who I had decided I was going to leave my wife for. Okay, and so when we had found an apartment and everything, I was serious about this. So they loving this. I can see. So I finally got the nerve to walk out. Oh man, making my grandstand. So I walk in the house.
It's hilarious.
After
now.
being out all night. Come in the house and say, "Let me tell you something." And I begin to tell her, I'm leaving. I done found somebody else. She cooked better than you and all the other stuff I said that I can't say right now. And then I said, oh, yeah, by the way, I need my money. Give me that check.
Right.
And so she looked at me like,
he was like, and we're moving into our own
and I
apartment.
need my security deposit, so I need my check.
So I need my check because again he was in the Navy and he had just gotten
I
paid.
can't tell you what she said, but it was like, beep. It was something in there. And so I realized that I'm not going to get that check. So,
like, what made you think that you can walk into, because, this is before technology, so there was no direct deposit.
No direct
You
deposit.
got an actual
You got
paper
an
check,
paper
right?
check, okay.
So what made you think that you were going to walk into the house, tell me you are leaving me for another woman, and think I'm going to give you your paycheck?
Could it be Satan?
I don't know what
it might have been the devil.
Because
I think it might have been
when
the
you
devil.
Think about it, that is crazy.
I know. So
that is so crazy.
So,
but okay,
it was
go
very
ahead.
bold. So after my grandstand and telling her what I'm about to do, I proceed to go. I don't know if I grabbed me a few little pieces of clothes.
You did, because that's all you had.
A few little pieces, and then I got my basketball because I needed my basketball. Y'all.
Right.
Got my basketball. Walked outside and couldn't find my car.
Uh-huh.
Because while I was running them streets, I forgot to pay my car note. Wouldn't you know that the moment I decided to leave you is the moment they decided to repossess my car?
Repossessed the car.
You talking about the walk of shame. So picture it. I just gave you the speech of my life.
Right.
Walked outside, slammed the door behind me, boom, and couldn't find my car. Now I got to come back up them stairs.
Oh, this story was hilarious.
And so when I walked upstairs, and she said, I thought you was leaving. I said, shut up. And then I went to the back.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Then he tried to call the police to say his car was stolen.
That didn't work. And unfortunately.
Then he called his broke friends. they couldn't come get him.
The girlfriend who I was leaving you for didn't have a car.
You surely didn't think this.
So, moving on.
Uh-huh.
So, you was way too cool when it was all said and done. I mean, at the end of the night, you was just chilling to the point where I was scared. I'm like, she is way too cool for this. But I didn't know that you had plans.
I had plans.
Tell
as
them
well.
about your plans.
So I had planned to leave as well. I had actually interviewed, I did a preliminary interview for United Airlines to become a flight attendant.
Okay.
Right? And I had a second interview, the final interview actually, in Chicago, which is, my hometown. So I was flying to Chicago. You thought I was just simply going to Chicago to visit my family.
I did.
But I was actually going to Chicago for this interview.
Wow.
All right. And
Making
when
plans.
I came back, my coworkers and I had already had a plan that when I got this job, you would go to work.
Okay.
And they would come over, and we were going to pack up all my stuff.
Okay.
And we were going to be out, right? I was going to be out. But I wasn't going to leave you empty-handed.
You won't?
No.
What was you going to do?
I was going to leave you one plate, one knife, fork, spoon, one cup, one pillow, one blanket.
Savage.
Out one washcloth, one bath towel, one of
Man,
everything.
forget Meg Thee Stallion. You was a savage.
Folded nice and neatly in the middle of the living room floor. And I was going to leave you the living room furniture, too,
Why?
because it wasn't paid for.
Jesus.
And I wasn't taking that bill. Let them
Savage.
come for you, okay?
Savage.
Yeah,
So,
so I was out, too. But guess what?
what?
I was too short.
You was like the rapper?
Yeah, I was too short. At the time, you had to be 5'2" without heels
Okay.
to be a flight attendant. So literally, my interview was wonderful. Everything checked out.
Okay.
And they were like, okay, the last part, after they separated you and everything,
Okay.
they started, doing some preliminary, almost like training. But they were like, everyone has to take the height test. And
Okay.
I did not pass the height test. So while we were making plans to leave, I truly can say, looking back on it now, God was putting His plans into
in
action.
Yeah, I believe
right?
that. Yeah.
So because he knew
He
knew
knew.
what He had in
He
store
knew.
for
He knew.
us.
He knew.
So, but because since we had to stay together, because the car was repossessed and I was too short.
Yeah, we were stuck in the house
We were
together.
stuck together.
We were stuck.
Right? And as we grew in our faith, right?
Well, no, we hadn't grown in our faith then because I didn't get saved until I wasn't saved then.
But it was just a few months later because that was like
Was
the
it?
spring, and you got out of the Navy in April.
Yeah, I didn't get saved until February.
Okay, so maybe that was more like the fall
but
before winter.
Well, the thing is too because when I think about that time, and without going into a lot of details, some details, right? Because again, I think sometimes people they see our after picture, but they don't see the before, and so they see us here today, but they don't understand just how bad things were, right?
Yeah.
Man, things were bad.
They were.
Things were bad. I mean, infidelity wasn't even infidelity to me. It was just a way of life.
Right.
Right. I didn't even see it as doing anything that wrong. But on the outside,
I mean,
looking,
fighting.
yeah, arguing all the time.
All the time.
All the
Yeah.
time, man. It was like Ali Frazier every time we came to the house,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And down goes Shad, because I mean, you was the one swinging.
Listen.
You pulled out a knife on me.
You cut my clothes.
I did, but you pulled out a knife first. I cut the clothes later. I did. I cut her clothes, guys. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Man, I feel bad.
But in the midst of that,
When we buy you some new clothes, I did. I cut her clothes, and I can't tell all that. But
my clothes that were hanging in the closet, he just went
I
right
went
down.
straight through them.
And then my other clothes you threw in the tub
And
put bleach, and we had made a pot of
Jesus,
cabbage for dinner
Jesus.
the night before, and you poured the cabbage. And
I
then
guess
the
I was
bleach
savage
all-
too. I guess, Jesus.
So
But-
then how? I know everybody's like, what?
Okay.
All the women are in
Yeah, I can see them in
out
the chat.
there and like, what?
It's some face emojis, those fake cussing emojis. Some people going in right
They're
now.
like, what?
And listen,
And y'all still together?
don't leave the church. Please come back to church.
Listen.
I've been saved.
Yes.
I know I've been changed. I
But
just want
here's
to
the
keep coming.
thing, though. Even in the midst of that, and you were saying, we really truly weren't had our own personal relationship with Christ, but because we had that background, and I want to encourage even parents, right? Don't give up on your children,
That's
right?
good.
Don't stop praying for them. Don't stop believing for their breakthrough. Don't stop believing for their deliverance, because even in the midst of that, I knew that was not supposed to be my life,
That's
right?
good.
Because we talked about this a couple episodes back. I saw good marriage. I
Yeah.
saw what a good marriage was with my grandparents,
Yeah.
right? And other people in my family and in my life.
Right.
So I knew that was not what marriage was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And even in my unsaved state, I would find myself, I would go into our guest room,
Okay.
and I would close the blinds and shut the door and keep the lights off. And I would get down on my knees.
Really?
Yes. And I would just be praying. I'd be like, God, I know it's not supposed to be like this. So Lord, help us. I didn't have no eloquent prayer life at that time. Yeah.
But he heard you.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Parents don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up. Don't stop believing for your children, right? Because the seed of the word is getting on the inside of them.
Wow.
And I'm telling you, they say, I do believe that, while I wasn't really serving him or have received
but your heart
him,
was right.
but my heart was right.
Yeah.
And that's when his grace and his mercy came in. And so that's what I was praying during that time.
Well, because another thing too, and this is why this conversation is so important, because when you think about where we were, and I think about where I was, on the outside, people can see the fruit, but they don't really understand the root, right? The root of my issues was a lot of unresolved issues.
Yeah.
Right? And so one of the things we say about marriage is that when you come to a marriage cannot be 50-50.
No.
It has to be 100-100.
100-100.
Right?
Exactly.
Because if you got half a person marrying half a person, you don't become a whole person.
No.
What you end up doing...
Two broken people.
Two broken
two whole
people.
Two broken halves.
Yeah. And so the reason I bring that up is because a lot of times people, they love what they see can be, but they don't take the time to find out who they are really marrying.
Yeah.
Right? They don't have those conversations.
Right.
Right? Those deep conversations to really discover who you're marrying.
Exactly. And it's important. And, again, we've shared this before. People who know us know we got married after only 3 weeks, right? So we got married very quickly. We got married very young.
Absolutely.
But, a lot of times you have people now that are waiting a little bit later in life before they get married. So there should be a level of some maturity that, hey, don't rush it.
Don't rush it.
Don't rush it. Take your time.
Yeah,
and like
absolutely.
you said, get to know the person. Seek counsel, godly counsel from people that you trust or people that are solid.
Right.
Right? Because you don't have to go through what we were going through at year 2.
Listen, because one of the things that people don't understand is that when you get married, you're not just marrying that person. You're marrying their past.
Yes.
You're marrying their experiences. You're marrying their upbringing.
Right.
You're marrying their parents.
Their standards.
Their standards.
What they perceive to be right and wrong.
Absolutely.
What they perceive to be just.
Absolutely.
You're marrying also even their insecurities.
Right. Right. Because here's what's funny.
And you don't see those things on them dates.
Well, you ain't looking for those things.
Oh yeah, but you don't see. And even though we had a lot of times where we did some deep talking, but we still didn't get to those things.
Well, we talked about the positive.
Right.
We never took time to talk about the baggage. We talked about the trip. But we didn't talk about the baggage.
Yeah.
And you can't take a trip without baggage.
You sure can't.
Right? And so what's amazing, and I'm not sure we're going to have time to get into this, but when I say you marry your parents, what I'm saying is that you are influenced by the people who raised you.
Yeah, you
whether
are.
you realize that or not.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
I talk about, and I think I talked about in one episode, the night I met you, how I had on my favorite powder blue suit.
Oh, gosh.
Right? And anytime I felt like I wanted to be a player,
You put on that powder blue jean suit.
Because ain't nobody
and
don't pass me. Okay.
And it was like unbuttoned to down here.
Oh, boy, here she go.
And you were 19, so you didn't have any chest hairs.
Nah.
You had what they call a bird chest. That was basically you at the time.
I was Tweety.
Yes.
Yeah. But what I found out later.
Or like Roadrunner. Even Tweety was a little thick, but
Is this podcast over yet? You want to stop talking about... You love that little bird chest.
I did. I surely did.
You better act like you know.
I did.
But what I found out is that my father's favorite color was powder blue.
And your mom said whenever he was going to go out and just be him, he's going to be Big Papa.
Big Papa.
That's what he would put on with
Big
that
Willie.
powder blue suit.
Powder blue suit.
But then...
Found out later.
Later.
My grandfather. Favorite suit
was a powder blue suit.
And anytime he was about to hit them streets, he put on
powder blue suit.
Lord have mercy.
Ooh.
So what you didn't know is that you won't just marrying me. You was marrying the power of the powder blue. Lord have mercy. Didn't I catch you with that powder blue suit on?
Yeah. The night I met you, yeah, that's what you had on.
Okay, that's all I'm saying. I'm out.
Whatever.
I'm done.
You know what? You were crazy. But yeah, so, basically in this episode, we just want you to know that in order to make it last forever, the very first thing that we had to do is we truly, number one, had to receive Christ into our lives, right? And then we had to allow him over the years to really work and clean our hearts.
Yeah.
And then as we came into our marriage, having to deal with all those issues. Because, listen, when we got saved, all that hurt, that pain, that disappointment, that anger, that bitterness, it didn't just vanish overnight.
It came with us.
Right. It came with us, even into our new life in Christ.
Absolutely.
But we had to allow God into our hearts so that he can change us. And then we got to the point where we had to also say, divorce is not an option.
Right. We got there.
We had to get there.
Yeah.
We had to make a conscious decision that, listen, divorce is not an option. Therefore, guess what it did, though?
Yeah.
I think it helped us to allow God to heal us quicker.
Absolutely.
Because if divorce is not an option, then every time I'm feeling this way, this anger, every time I have that flashback and I have that, get that twitch, and I want to just, chop you in the throat.
Jesus. This was an angry episode. Episode.
But you know what? But I found myself having to go like, God, right back to year 2 before I knew him, going on my knees and saying, I know it's not supposed to be like this. I found myself now knowing him saying, okay, God, I know it's not supposed to be like this. Come on, help me, Holy Spirit, teach me, clean whatever in me that is contaminating this. And so I think it helps you to even move past that and get to that decision even quicker.
Well, we're out of time.
I know.
Did you see that?
I know. It's just boom.
Man, where did 28 minutes go?
Lord
have mercy.
It went.
Well,
but I think we had a great time.
I think we did.
This was a good discussion.
This.
And I don't even think it's finished.
I'm still here.
Yes.
She didn't beat me up.
And it's not finished, really, because, again, we're going to talk about other tools that we've learned over the years that help us to make our marriage last. But like I said, you gotta say to yourself, divorce is not an option. There's too many things pulling on marriages nowadays.
Absolutely.
So the first thing, just decide, divorce is not an option.
Not an option.
So that means we're going to face these challenges and we're going to overcome them.
And so if divorce is not an option, you're on the road to making it last forever.
That's right. That's right.
Well, guys, that's our time.
That's our time. We're so excited. Don't forget, make sure you put those notifications on so that every time we come up, you get notified and you join us. And if you're liking it, let us know.
Let us know.
Let us know. You can go to our website. Our website is dopemarriage.com.
That's right.
You can find our email there, mydopemarriage@gmail.com. You can send us your comments, your questions, your ideas, your stories. We'd love to hear your stories.
We want to hear from you because the whole point of this is to let you know that marriage is a lot of things.
It is.
Right? It's fun. Mm-hmm. Not saying it.
You are.
It's awesome.
Uh-huh.
And finally.
Yes, come on.
It's dope. It's dope. We got to go. It's intoxicated.
Intoxicated.
And it's dope. Listen, we'll see you next time. We'll see you next time. Thank y'all for watching. Have a wonderful. Love you. Bye.
See you later.